So, after all the signings, all the moves, let's go ahead and take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals depth chart. Because I'll be honest with you, I do not think it's going to change much more before the draft. Especially with the fact they still have to go ahead and give T. Higgins his extension and Joe Burrow his extension too. But I do want to go ahead and bring up one point, because you guys made some really good points down below in my comment section. Listen, whenever I feel like I made a take, and you guys explain your side, and I feel like, maybe I was a little outlandish, I'm going to go ahead and, take accountability for it. So, I did say in my last video, Jonah Williams, now, I know some people grouped me, some people didn't, that if he is forced to play right tackle, then he's going to either sit out or give half effort if he does get forced to play. And that was incorrect to me. First off, he's not going to sit out. At the end of the day, Zach Taylor came out today and said, pretty simple, he believes that Jonah Williams will play right tackle. He believes that, he's never been a problem before and he won't be a problem now, and that he will be playing right tackle. In all honesty, it's not like Jonah Williams is stuck in a 3-year contract. He's in a 1-year prove-it deal, not prove-it deal, but he's in his last year of his contract. He wants to go get paid. So even if, theoretically speaking, right, he is forced to play right tackle, okay, he'll play right tackle this year, look good, play good, and then hit the open market next year and then try to get some big boy money and eventually go back to left tackle where he wants to play. So, if anything, he'll probably play better this year because of the fact that, he wants to get paid, right? He wants $12.6 million this year, but he also wants the money next year and years after that. So, again, like I said, listen, sometimes, when I make these videos, I get a little bit, emotional, because I'm like, what, this outlandish take by me. Nonetheless, though, Jonah Williams, at this moment in time, is the right tackle for the Cincinnati Bengals. Whether or not he gets traded, again, like I said, kind of done talking about the guy unless he gets traded. I'm not really going to bring him up again unless he gets traded in the future, but he's the right tackle right now, right? So, at this moment in time, here's the roster. Quarterback is Joe Burrow and Jake Browning. That's it. I don't think they draft anybody else. Again, Jake Browning, I think he is number 2. And I think they're going to roll with him as number 2 here. So, this is set. Joe Mixon, Chris Evans, and Williams. Now, Zeke, it's still right now thought of and believed he's going to be a Cincinnati Bengal. This is still crazy, crazy talk from a lot of different people. And Vegas has Zeke as the best odds of going to the Cincinnati Bengals here. I don't think you guys get Derrick Henry. I talked about it in the video just, because there were people talking about it. Austin Eckler, again, like I said, another player I don't think you end up getting, but I did talk about it because, again, that is a player to talk about. But no, I don't think you guys get those two. Zeke is possible, though. Zeke is very possible. Now, obviously, if you get Joe Mixon, Zeke, and then obviously you draft someone, let's say you draft Tank, Chris Evans, Muhammad, Gibbs, whoever, that would be a stout backfield. That would be an absolute stout, crazy backfield. And again, if that is the case, my opinion is, if that did happen when it got Zeke and then they also got somebody else, I would guess they would take 2 running backs in the draft, and Joe would be cut. Just because of, first off, money. They would probably ask him, hey, listen, Joe, can you take a salary cap? Can you take a pay cut? Can you take less money? And if he says no or he doesn't want to, then they would probably cut him. My guess is he probably would take a pay cut, though, just to stay with the Bengals. And in all honesty, then, if he does take a pay cut, you got Joe, you got, Zeke, and you got, whoever, Tank, Gibbs, whoever, right? That would be an absolute god-tier backfield. Right there. Bar none. That is absolutely great. You got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Trent Taylor just got re-signed for the Bengals for 1 year, so he is coming back. Trenton Irwin, Stanley Morgan. Based on what we understand, we saw that Cincinnati was at Michigan's Pro Day to look at the receivers. So it's very possible that we see another receiver here. Keep in mind, he is the odd man out. He's on his last year of his contract, right? And he said, he came out and said he understands that Cincinnati might move on from him after this season. And at this moment in time, no, he is on the roster, and this is his job right now. He's guaranteed a year, right? My guess is Cincinnati is going to look in the 5th, 6th, or 7th round for his eventual replacement, right? The guy who eventually will take over for Tyler Boyd. And again, if the replacement ends up going out next year and playing absolutely amazing, lighting up the show, then Tyler Boyd might be traded by midseason. And my guess is no. I think they're going to draft somebody 5th, 6th round. He ends up just, kind of being a rotational guy, learning the offense, kind of redshirt year, and eventually, after the next season, Boyd walks, and they bring in, or they just keep going with whoever they drafted. Tight ends now. Now we have some tight ends. Let's go. Irv Smith Jr., starting tight end. Devin, we have Tanner, and we have Nick. Now, at this moment in time, obviously, when we start the season, and this is what I've said before, my guess is they take 2 tight ends in this NFL draft, right? I'm about to say in this next NFL draft, but it's not the next one. It's the upcoming NFL draft, right? I'm going to guess they take 2 tight ends in that draft, and those 2 tight ends, I'm going to guess, again, as I said before, my hope would be Irv Smith ends up becoming the 3rd string tight end on this roster. So you have, whoever, if you do have Darnell Washington, Josh Wiley, and then Irv Smith would be here. So obviously, at the end of the day, all 3 of these guys will be practice squad, special teams, whatever. They won't be in the tight end group right now, right? So in reality, this is going to be the starter going into the season. 2 rookies, 1A and 1B. Hopefully, 1A, 1B become good enough to become starter. Whether that's Michael Mayer, whether that is Darnell Washington, Sam LaPorta, Josh Wiley, Strenton. Strange? I think his name is Strange. Any of those guys, right? They're eventually going to become the starter, hopefully, and Irv Smith will just be the backup. And he'll be like a rotational piece with the rookies to kind of, keep the rookies fresh, teach them a little bit of veteran leadership, teach them what to expect in the NFL, that kind of stuff. That is the hope. And that's why I said many times, I would love for them to bring in a veteran tight end. And in all honesty, I'll say it again, I didn't really care who they brought in. As long as the player knew the NFL, played for a couple years, knew what he was doing, that's really all I cared about, right? Because at the end of the day, he's not going to be the guy. Irv Smith, if Irv Smith is the guy, then that means the draft failed. Because at the end of the day, the point is you bring in Irv Smith, but you're also going to draft a tight end or 2 to really, be that future, right? Irv Smith has a 1-year contract for a reason. If they believe Irv Smith was the guy, they would give him multiple years, right? But at the end of the day, they're getting him 1 year because they're like, hey, listen, we're going to come in. We need, at this position, we need a starter at this position, right? A guy with veteran leadership, a guy who knows what he's doing. We're going to be drafting somebody. So we need you to help, transition that person to the NFL. And again, we see this all the time with bridge quarterbacks. He's a bridge tight end. All right, so line. I love this offensive line. I absolutely love it. You got Orlando Brown, an amazing left tackle. I think Cornell will play very good this year. He'll slowly transition. Not transition. He'll get right back in shape. No problem at all. Why is it in shape? He'll keep being great. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm saying tonight. They re-signed Max Sharpener. I think the reason why they re-signed him, this is my personal opinion, they re-signed him right when Jonah requested a trade. Which interests me a lot. Because I feel like the second, he requests a trade, they re-signed Max, which kind of was probably an insurance policy in case Jonah leaves. What you're going to do then is move Jackson Carman down the right tackle, or Cody Ford if you really believe Cody Ford can get the job done. And then Max would be probably the immediate backup left tackle, I would guess. Yeah, I would guess he would be the immediate backup left tackle in case something happened. But kind of just depth purposes in case something happened, right? So, yeah, they ended up re-signing Max because Jonah Williams has requested a trade. Again, keep in mind, he did not demand a trade. He just requested one. He did not demand one. He's not saying, listen, if you don't trade me, I'm not playing. He's not saying that. He's not saying, if you don't trade me, I'm going to demand release. So, Teddy K, my mans. You guys not see my video with him playing basketball. Make sure you check that out. Alex Kappa comes back from injury. He'll be fine at right guard. Obviously, if, for example, the Cincinnati Bengals do decide to draft a right tackle in the draft, whether that's Blake Freeman, McGlennon in the 5th round, or whoever they end up taking, we could see Collins get cut. They take a tackle in the 1st round, Collins is gone. 100%. They take a tackle in the 2nd or 3rd round, Collins might be gone. Right? They put enough capital in the 1st round pick, Collins is gone. But if they put some capital, not too crazy capital, Collins might stay. Keep in mind, Collins will be out the first couple of weeks of next season. That is a huge thing because, again, keep in mind, you're going to need a right tackle for the first couple of games of the season. Now, of course, if they do cut him, they save around $10 million. So that's a huge W if they do end up letting him go. But at this moment in time, I feel like, in reality, if Jonah did 100% didn't request a trade and was like, I'll play right tackle, no big deal, I feel like they might have cut Collins. I feel like they might have cut him. Especially because they can draft somebody. And if Jonah was a sure bet he's going to be a right tackle, I feel like then they would be more confident, like, okay, well, then we'll let Collins go. And then we'll save that $10 million, maybe sign someone else, and then also draft somebody. But again, like I said, just hypothetical. Defensive line. Hubbard, DJ Reader, BJ Hill, Trey Hendrickson. God tier. Absolutely God tier. I still believe Joseph takes the next step forward this next season. He gets even better. Now, for the draft, I've talked this many times. Moro Jabo, I would love to see him. He would fit right here where Zach Carter is. He's a 4th, 5th round pick. Eventually, he could be a rotational guy with BJ Hill. Love the guy. He's an amazing pass rusher. Gets right to the quarterback. Makes big plays. He's going to get sacks. He's going to get fumbles. He's going to make a game-changing plays. Love him in this NFL draft. Saw it many times. Also, you could, in the right defensive end spot in the rotational piece, I think Joseph really does stand up and does really better this year. Instead of Cam Sample, go with someone like Carl Brooks and Bowling Green. An amazing pass rushing off the edge. He should help you out immensely to get out to the quarterback. You got him, Moro Jabo. Now you're just rotational pieces, setting blitzes. Okay, this is going to get broken. Again, that's why this draft is so amazing. Because 4th and 5th round, we're talking about these guys. We're not talking about these guys in the 1st round. All right. Linebacker core, Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt. Absolutely God tier. Obviously, Akeem Davis Gaither. He will be the immediate sub linebacker. Not a big deal. Cheeto, Cam Taylor Britt, Jalen Davis, Mike Hilton, and obviously now Sidney Jones V. Love that squad. Could they still bring back Eli Apple? Yes. Could they still bring back Trey Flowers? Yes. Will they draft a quarterback in this draft? Most likely, yes. And that's what Sidney Jones gives you. He gives you that ideal or that chance to say, okay, well, we're probably going to draft somebody, but we want someone on the roster who can at least know the defense and learn the defense, right, and be a rotational piece. And that's what, remember, if you guys go a little bit far back, was it Chris Lemons who went ahead and signed for the Kansas City Chiefs? And he was going to be that guy. And then he did the whole Alvin Kamara, beat the crap out of somebody and got kicked off the team. But he was going to be that guy. And now, obviously, Sidney Jones ends up being that guy. But yeah, so you definitely, I say, the first 3 rounds, you probably go cornerback. So probably going to go cornerback first 3 rounds, get a star corner in this team, really build him up. Sidney Jones on a 1-year, nothing contract. So if you get a rookie high, let's say 2nd and 3rd round, and he ends up really blossoming, you cut Sidney Jones, move on from him, and then that's how you set up that secondary. Nick Scott should be absolutely fine. Dax Hill should be absolutely fine too. No immediate backup when it comes to, I mean, these guys capable, but I'm saying that there's no like star backup or rotational piece. I would love to see them target a safety in this draft. Sidney Jones, we talked about before, second round. Sidney Jones, Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown. Second round. There's Hickman, we talked about. Quindell Johnson, we talked about. Again, we said, you follow the channel, you probably know there's a lot of players we have talked about. They could target that safety in the draft. I would love to see them maybe 5th, 6th, 7th round, you know. Just get a rotational guy. He doesn't have to be a star. I'm not saying spend a first-round pick, because obviously, unless Brian Branch is on the board, the first round, you're not going with a safety. So, I would love seeing him a rotational guy, maybe. Add a rotational player to this team, so that, you know, if Nick's got Dax Hill, even though I think they're going to perform just well, have a rotational guy in there. You know, just take a little bit edge off them. You don't need to overwork them at all. So just get a little situation there. Still one of the best kickers in the game. In Evan McPherson, Drew Chrisman. We have Trent Taylor. We have Williams. And obviously, long snapper, no longer going to be Harris. He is done. So now we have the new guy right there. Not bad. Not a bad roster. Not a bad roster. And if we go to PFF Mock Draft Simulator, like always, let's just take a look at where we're going to go here. Let's do... Bam, bam, bam. Alright, let's start draft. First round, oh, lordy, Kincaid's on the board. I don't think Kincaid's on the board in reality, in real life. But you know what? In this mock draft simulator, he's on the board. Give me Kincaid. Kincaid is the closest tight end to what Kelsey would be. He's very, very, he's very polished at tight end. He's the best receiving tight end in this draft. So he's pretty much the equivalent of, what's his name? Travis Kelsey. All right, let me get second round here. Sidney Brown. It was Sidney Brown. I was right. See, this is why I wouldn't be against the idea of taking a Sidney Brown here. Second round, really decent coverage guy as a rotational piece, right? Helping out the team here. But then I'm also looking in the second round here. Yeah, so Matthew Bergeron. If Matthew Bergeron's on here, one second round, if he's here, automatically taking him, right? He'll be the right tackle. Could go with someone. I don't really like too many players in this area here. Blake Freeman, we talked about him before. I'm falling out of love with him. I still don't think he's that amazingly great. So second round here, I might go corner. Garrett Williams, and then you have Tre'Davious, Hodges, Thompson. Both very capable players. But if I'm being honest, I kind of rather go safety here. I'd rather go with Sidney Brown over Hodges. Ugh. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not going tight end. And yeah, I'm probably going, if I'm being honest with you here, I'm probably going with a safety in Sidney Brown as a nice rotational guy. And who knows, maybe could become the starter eventually, right? Third round, I'm going Tank. Fourth round here, I'm probably looking toward tackle. Not guard, my bad. Tackle. Problem is, a lot of these guys, like, they do drop very well in this draft. So that's why it's like some of these guys, like, if you reach for somebody, take them early, you're just doing a discredit to yourself. Because you can get some of these guys a lot later who are actually really decent players, right? I might go with Kobe Turner here, a defensive lineman. I might go with that. I do want to go... Who are the cornerbacks on the board? Clark? Not really interested in him. Riley Moss. 6'1", 193 senior. Ugh. I mean, he does have some good characteristics about him. We have Blackman. Ooh, Sterling Thomas I really do like. And he is climbing up draft boards, which actually ticks me off because I don't want him to climb draft boards. I want him to be a late round pick. If I'm being honest right now, I'm probably going Riley Moss here. Nah, I'm going to go with Blackman from USC. Maybe a little bit of a reach on him, I'll be honest with you. That might have been a little bit of a reach. Josh Wiley, 5th round. I hope he's still available. Dang it, man. Yeah, he's not available. He got taken. I wanted McGlendon, but he got taken. Dang it. That's so annoying. Yeah, in all honesty, I probably could see them. They would probably go tackle earlier in the draft than I have it here. I got a little carried away. I mean, there are some decent options down here. The problem with this draft class at tackle is it just really isn't disciplined / developed, right? So you have some really good guys who could be decent, but there just simply isn't really that developed guy that you're looking at. You're like, oh yeah, that guy's pretty dang good. You know, he could be amazing. These guys are kind of like, you know, projects, right? And there's nothing wrong with a project in the NFL. Obviously, you know, you don't always get a star player. You know, sometimes you have to develop a player, but it is nice to have someone who's a little bit more polished that you can just plug and play and, you know, figure it out that way. So, it is what it is. All right, so what did they give me grade-wise? A+ for Dalton Kincaid's, B+ for Sydney, B- for Tank, B for Blackman, C+ for Josh Wiley, D for Nick. Makes sense. I kind of reached on that tackle there. B+ for Muhammad. Yeah, I can make sense. I think they do take tackle early on in this draft, a little bit earlier than I have it here. And they might take cornerback a little bit earlier too. They might not go Tank in the 3rd round. They might look for the 4th or 5th round for running backs. This running back draft class is very nice when it comes to running back depth. So, it is what it is, guys. Comment down below your thoughts, opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.